Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This is session 151. It seems like a lifetime. Let's jump in with a little bit of a recap, shall we? Previously, in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party, having freed the silver dragon Nindeltath, and in theory reopening the transmutation classroom, decided to go see Elon Freth. They ventured to the study hall, since that is where Bones had last seen the Drow Mage, and indeed they found the illusionists there. The party let Elon know what had transpired, and the mage confirmed he would arrange a private lesson with the headmaster, though Bones explained it would not be for them, but rather for Marta Moonshadow. At the mention of the Moon Elf, Elon showed a measure of distaste. He explained that Marta had been all but stalking him since she arrived, and he didn't know why. Elon also let the party know that anything they planned to do would have to wait until at least the evening of the morrow, at least if it planned the involvement of any students or faculty, since the Academy's monthly testing would be held tomorrow, a few days earlier than normal, to allow for the preparation of midwinter. The party took this information and decided that before they retired for the evening, they would try to meet the pseudo-vice principal Wormriddle. Their journey across the Academy took them through the Abjuration classroom, where they met the Tiefling Mage Violence. They spoke briefly about Wormriddle, with Violence exhibiting a clear distaste for the hag. As the party left, Ezrah offered some minor guidance to the tiefling, ingratiating himself a wee bit. A short time later, the party arrived at Wormriddle's workshop. They found a smoke-filled chamber, which Matashtai explored safely due to his bubble helmet. He found a number of different rooms, one of which looked to be a bit like a morgue, in which several flesh golems stood. After the monk's initial foray, Ezrah erased the runes containing the smoke within the chamber, allowing the place to clear up. Shortly after, the party met with Wormriddle, an ancient night hag that embodied her name every time she spoke or smiled, worms writhing through her teeth. The hag seemed somewhat put upon to be dealing with the party, and seemed absolutely terrified of Bones. After the tabaxi went invisible, the party was able to converse with Wormriddle, eventually bringing up the subject of her dead cousins, the Sargoth Coven. Wormriddle seemed quite excited to hear about all of Stillwater's ascension, but didn't seem to care much one way or the other about the deaths of the Coven, including Olive's defeat at the hands of the party. If anything, she seemed a little smug about it. The party was unsure of what to do from there, since they had no clear goal other than to meet Wormriddle and perhaps take her measure. So they decided at that point to end the conversation. They left with the night hag chastising Ezrah for messing with her runes. As the group headed back towards the dorms, they stopped by one of the doors they hadn't gone into during the headmaster's tour. Flanking the trophy case, they found the doors to the lecture hall. Within, they found the corpse of a quaggoth that looked as if something had exploded outwards from its chest. As they moved to investigate a second autopsy table that had been covered by a bloody sheet, the creature underneath it, a blue toad-like being, leapt out at them. And that is where we fade back into the scene. So, I believe we get to do drop the players on the map. And we get to very immediately everyone select their tokens and roll for initiative, because we got a little bit of a thing happening. So, yeah, this goes.
I have no mossy to click on.
Yep, we'll get him in just a moment. Okay. Wah, ba, 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 ba.
Wait, didn't we already do initiative last
I
time?
I think we already
We
did
did,
initiative, yes, but it looked clear when I opened up the turn tracker, so we're just gonna go with the new ones.
Well, that's unfortunate.
But Jeremy, I had a better roll last time.
Sometimes it just be that way, yo. You're fighting one thing. I don't think it really matters that much.
That I know of.
Well, look, spoilers. It's a Mork Souls with the pets. Okay, we get to play that wonderful game. Will this break the Streamlabs? Yes. The answer to that question is invariably yes. So back. Hey, it worked the second time. Nice. Normally it does
Wow.
not work that quickly.
Rolled that natty 20.
Otis Bodis.
Rather than
It
Wizards
hits.
rolling that natural 1.
Okay. Let me select this fucker.
Strangely aggressive.
Look, sometimes it do be that way. And we will descend down. This music to be a little louder. Okay. Matashtai. You are the individual that draws the ire and really the surprise round of this blue slod as it leaps out from underneath the shroud.
Didn't you already hit me with him?
Did I?
Yeah, because
Let's look
like
back.
I avoided something
Yata.
to do with like chaos something.
Oh, you're right, because I did hit you with an 11. And yeah, oh, I definitely forgot about that part. Right, absolutely. So the blue slod surprises you. Its claws rend through the flesh of your abdomen, and you feel something kind of like begin to surge through your body, and your constitution is able to kind of like fight back the chaos phage that might do something to you. So anyways, Bones is up first, and you're still invisible from your ring of invisibility, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
You also
you're-
told us what the thing does last time.
Yeah, it turned you into a fucking slod.
Yeah.
It fuck your ass up. Let's go.
Unless you want to be a slotty.
I mean, anybody want to be a slod? Like a
I
werewolf
mean,
factory.
what are the benefits of being a slod?
Who said there were benefits?
Then I'm less interested.
What are the benefits to being a lycanthrope?
If you survive the turning, you get to be like Ashes. It's a question of
Ashes
whether
is a special
you
kind
get-
of lycanthrope.
the question mark, much like who was it? It was fuck, I can't remember her name. Your friend, your ranger friend in the 5th, when she turned, right? Like it's a question mark on whether or not when you turn you survive the turning with your mind intact at least. Anyways, Bones, what you doing? I see you have moved inside the chamber.
I'm messaging people who are incompetent in delivering food.
Oh, cool.
Like, how fucking hard is it to follow a line? I'm sorry, but
Very,
it's
very
not.
difficult sometimes.
I move inside the room and I whip some dags at it.
He whipping dags. He whip his dags back and forth. He whips his dags back and forth.
My serpent's fang. Does a 29 hit?
A 29 does hit. I
I will also do snake
Was
attack.
not scrolled down. Okay.
And then I will whip offhand sharpshooter gore. Yeah. Does a 22 hit?
It does. Why is my chat not scrolling all the way down? Am I I like zoomed in or something. What's happening here?
Zoop.
If you weren't scrolled all the way down, it does the thing where it doesn't auto.
Scroll unless you click a button.
Yep.
Echo.
Echo? Is there an
Okay.
echo?
Yeah, it was me. I actually jumped over to the stream to see if...
That's my turn. I whip the 2 dags. I'm whipping my hair back and forth.
You whip the dag. The 2 dags, they do the whole anime thing through the air, fly past Matashtai, dot into this kind of like hulking broad figure's chest. Right? Did I show you guys the thing? I think I showed you guys the thing.
I don't know.
The thing. The handout. That thing. That what he looked like. Those are the
he
claws,
did.
by the way. He
Did
doesn't.
not see that.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't see
doesn't.
that.
He doesn't have like finger claws. He has like Wolverine claws, right? Like they come out of his knuckles.
23 claws.
Look,
that would be
it's the-
X23 because it only has 2.
I understand the
Man,
differentiation.
fucking got
I'm
him.
saying it's the conceptual Wolverine started the trend of claws coming out of your knuckles instead.
Also, to be exact, X23 did go by the moniker Wolverine in many issues.
That's true too.
Technically, she did.
Yep.
Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yep, it is.
You fucks.
Jeremy, you're still wrong.
You're both still assholes.
No.
How about that?
I
Someone
conceded. No,
Fair
that's
enough.
a good point. I concede.
I cannot.
All right, that's my turn, and he's necroticized, so he'll take 1d4 when he gets to his turn. I'll be
I
back.
can't do the thing.
Immediately jump up. That's not Wolverine! Nerd indignation.
I'm
Struggling.
I'm trying to figure out why the fuck I can't get to the. Hey! What the fuck, roll 20? I don't understand. What? Whatever. We'll take it. Matashtai, you're up next.
All right. I'm gonna hit him.
Oh shit, he's gonna hit him.
The stick bopping.
Did Roll20 ever come out and say anything about the OGL?
Yeah, they said we're not doing it no more. But I guarantee that's gonna get backtracked.
Okay. The daggers land on either side of you after the claws rip through your torso. There's this low thud. You see blood oozing out of the blue slod's chest, and you decide to whap it in the head. With a 31, yeah, you definitely hit. You bring the staff crushing down on this creature's skull, and there's this resounding crack that kind of like echoes through the lecture hall.
I attempt to stun him.
Is there a
Okay.
reason why the ethereal staff is highlighted in purple?
That's why I hesitated. I was like, what is happening there?
I
For
clicked
me,
it,
like
and-
the initiatives are highlighted in purple.
19.
Yeah, they are.
Chile. No
That
dice on that one.
succeeds. Also, that's highlighted in purple. It's very hard to read.
What's going
I
on tonight?
All right, a bop again.
We getting some oddities happening.
20 to hit.
Yeah, 20 still hits.
Blammo.
All right.
Blammo. This time kind of crushing into the side of the
ability.
creature. You hear the crack of like bruised ribs.
Flurry of blows.
Okay.
Punch.
Hold on. No ability. Ability?
It's a hit for
That's
another 12.
description.
Punch him in the
I'm
sternum.
going to apply Hand of Harm on that one.
Okay.
Save
Maybe.
that.
Yep, there it is. And that punch again. I miss on that one. I'm glad I used Hand of Harm on the previous
You
one.
punch him in the sternum, and as you do, right, like your fist instantly it like connects. There's this loud like pop from the crunch of bones, and as you're pulling the fist away, you see there's just this black necrotic imprint in the chest of the creature from your Hand of Harm.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the fourth attack, like you just swing with like a back fist, and the thing, it's not so much that it like dodges or really blocks your attack. It's just so stumbling back from the barrage of attacks that have been unleashed upon it that it basically just kind of like tumbles out of your range.
Good. I don't want him in my range.
I mean, he's still there. Anything else for your turn?
No, that's it.
Ashes, you're up.
All right. So
You see Bones and Matashtai have just unleashed on this fucking creature.
Yeah.
And it is already bleeding, broken, bloodied, stumbling back.
Damn, are we the bad guys?
He's a
2,
baddie.
3, 4. I don't remember there being like someone screamoing in this track.
Yeah, it's always been there.
Has it really always been there?
Yeah, Zach
Probably
makes
back
fun of
up
it
in
every
many-
single time.
I like it. All right, so I move into place. I size him up.
He'd size
I
him
get
up.
down on all four, and I bull rush.
Okay, so I love the idea of like after the fact, like envisioning, because right, D&D combat 6 seconds isn't a realistic scenario, right? So like I like to imagine basically all of the things that are happening in 6 seconds happening in rapid succession. So in this particular instance, I love the idea of Bones rushing into the room invisibly. You don't realize he's there. You maybe like feel the faint breeze as he passes you, right? But as he becomes visible as he jumps in the air and unleashes 2 daggers, right? And I like to imagine that Ashes was already running into the room to prepare to charge at this creature as Bones is doing this. So I like to imagine Ashes does the like, Bones appears in the air and throws daggers as Ashes is running into Bones's path, and Ashes does the whole like slide underneath the daggers thing, and then pivots and boom, explodes into a charge as Matashtai is just whapping the shit out of this creature. So
Perfect for like 6 seconds of an anime opening for
right,
the
it's super
like
super
absolutely
dope,
perfect.
right? And okay, Ashes, you're doing a charge, bull rush. 20 hits, absolutely. All right, so 9 gore damage.
15. I'm assuming both are bludgeoning. I guess
They should be
gore-
piercing, actually.
Piercing.
They should both be piercing
Yeah. Okay.
from the horns in theory.
Yeah.
Although in the right situation, I could see an argument for
It-
bludgeoning, right? So keep that in mind if you ever need to,
All right.
like, actually.
DC 15 strength
Yep.
saving throw if he's still alive.
He let's see. Ooh, so like he stumbles back from Matashtai's barrage, and you catch him in the side, but you don't catch him unaware, right? Like he sees you in his peripheral vision, and he turns ever so slightly to keep himself from being perfectly gored on the horns, and he grabs the horns, and you do kind of like the slide scenario where you're pushing him back a few feet, but he kind of like, and then shoves you off, so he does not get knocked prone. Or knocked away.
In turn.
Okay. Sounds
wait.
good.
No, wait. Is that that's one attack action? I'd have another attack action, do I not?
I believe we have that ruled as just an attack action, not a full attack action.
All right, so he caught my horns.
Yep.
So if his hands are up here, that means I've got a gut to slash at.
You got a gut to slash at.
Or do I? 16.
A 16 just hits. That is the creature's AC is 16. 10. Okay, yeah, he catches the horns and you slash. Unfortunately, the problem is you're really close to him, so you don't have the full capability of just like full slashing. So it's more like you lunge forward and rake it across his belly instead. But yeah, you leave this deep gash through his midsection.
Enter.
Okay, in turn. At the start of his turn, he has a necrotized wound to deal with, correct? From Bones. So what's that one do?
1d4. 1 damage.
Okay, 1 damage. Does he roll or anything?
At the end of his turn.
Oh, okay, so he takes the 1 necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see that kind of like pulse of like black blood ooze out of one of the daggers. And then you see some of the wounds across its body slowly begin to reknit themselves to the point to where you also actually see some of the blood dripping down its chest actually crawls back up and into the wounds as it regenerates a small bit. Then it's gonna make just kind of like an offhand slash at Ashes, who it has by the horns. It's gonna like throw your head back and then try to slash at your jugular as it's throwing you away. So claw attack at you. 19.
AC is 20.
Ooh, okay. Does not hit, just barely. Like you feel the claws past your throat on that one. And then it will also like just swing with the other hand, kind of like trying to create space. Swing at Matashtai with another claw. 16.
Nope.
Okay.
I can see that.
Ooh. I'm so confused what's happening. And then it will.
AC set it together as if the shield is equipped.
Oh boy. Ashes is 1, Matashtai is 2. Yeah, it's in just like panic, kill mode. It slashes at your throat, misses. It kind of like it slashes at Matashtai, but it's more to kind of like ward him off than anything else. And then as you're kind of like pulling back from your charge position, Ashes, it drops low and it leaps at your groin, and you see its mouth unhinge, and you see these huge, almost kind of like shark teeth as it kind of like unhinges its jaw and goes to try to like bite your midsection / groin in half. So big bite. Oh, little bite. You just basically just like palm its head away from you. Just like shove it down and avoid the attack entirely. Okay. That is the end of its turn. Ezrah, you're up. You can hear, but I don't think you can quite see the combat. So you see bones appear, right, and hurl daggers. You see Ashes sprint into the room, and then you hear the sounds of this conflict happening, but you don't see what exactly is happening.
Constitution saving throw.
Oh, right. Constitution saving throw. 27.
Wow.
Okay.
Goddamn.
He no longer wounded. All right. Ezra, you step into the room and you see Matashtai and Ashes facing down a hulking, just bloodied, battered, and broken blue slod. And as you see this creature, you just kind of like instinctively glance over at the Quaggoth next to you, and you're like, yeah, okay. Right? Like, it clicks in your head to make sense of, oh, probably came from there.
What is the Quaggoth doing? Is the Quaggoth also just dead on the table?
Quaggoth is dead, laying dead on the table with its chest cavity, almost kind of like Aliens, exploded open type of scenario.
So not like surgically open.
No, not like, ooh, we incisioned it and everything. No, it's like,
chest bursting.
Yeah.
Okay. Gross.
Science.
Science! Raw science!
Oh, it's the stutter is on the science, not the raw.
Whatever. But we're very corrective nerd tonight. My
know, right?
God. Holy shit!
Sorry, it's
Coming
a
at
bad
me
habit.
real thick.
I shouldn't be like that.
What you got, Ezra?
Seeing what this creature is and knowing at least my experiences with it, I decide, all right.
Oh yeah, I
24.
would say like its regeneration isn't like an instantaneous, like, oh, it just regenerates. So you see, as you're kind of like walking in the room, you see some of its wounds are consistently like bleeding backwards and re-knitting themselves. So yeah, you're absolutely just fuck that noise.
Yep.
The funny thing is though, Ezra, is you're like fuck that noise, and you kind of like wave your hand through the air, and the spectral hand appears in between Ashes and Matashtai, and it mirrors your movements. And for whatever reason, right, like the blue slot is kind of like lunging up at Ashes as you go to swing. And as it stands, you hit the perfect kind of like placement of your spectral hand appears and then just rakes a necrotic furrow through its throat. And you see the creature kind of like reach up and go. And then it falls over. Dead. And since it can't regenerate, hey! A few moments pass. And the blue slod's lifeless corpse lays there. Nothing changes about it. And the moment seems to have passed.
All right, we did.
Well, that was something.
It sure was.
Is that one going to also turn? Did they turn? Was it already here? I don't know what's going on.
No. That's not how this works.
Well, see, Matt, when a mama blue slod and a daddy blue slod love each other very much.
Also not how that works.
No, also not how that works.
But could it? Like,
They don't reproduce in that fashion.
Yeah, from a meta standpoint, no. Sloths do not reproduce sexually.
They insult
They
their
reproduce
fetus.
by
if,
infecting
like,
each other or other
blue
creatures.
eggs got fertilized by yellow sperm.
Nope. No eggs, no sperm.
Or
How you getting
gray Quagoth bodies.
There you go. Actually, Ezra, roll me a history or Arcana check. DC is decently high. We'll say 22.
22.
About a natural 20,
Natural
27?
20, 27. So
That'll do.
you don't know all of the specifics, right?
Right.
But you know enough of Slod. Maybe it's because of maybe you were just already aware of this, or maybe after your multiple encounters with Slods in the Lost levels, and then the Slods that you had to deal with in the Slither Swamp. Maybe Ezra did a
devils
little
or
bit of
demons?
research here or there, huh?
Are they devils or demons?
The Slotty, I think, are technically neither. They are not fiendish, I believe. They
Thought they
are
were fiends.
aberrations.
Thought they were fiends. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are aberrations. They are from the what is
Far
it?
realm.
No, they're from the plane of fuck, I can't remember what the cosmology is. Una momento. It does exist. There is an answer.
There's only like 25 things you need to know, Jeremy. Come on.
right.
One time.
It is. Wah, bah, 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 bah. I think they're from either Gehenna or Carcerai. I think Gehenna, right? If I'm remembering correctly. So they're from the lower planes, but they're technically not from one of the like fiendish realms. Oh no, sorry, they're from Limbo.
Limbo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're from Limbo. So they're technically not. Oh, yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. They're not they're not, they are evil, but they are creatures of chaos. They are the polar opposites of Mechanus, right? The plane of law. The plane of limbo is the pure plane of chaos. So anyways, yeah, not fiendish creatures. But right, through for whatever reason, you have read up just to make sure that Slotty reproduce by infecting other creatures with a thing known as chaos phage. And depending on what they infect, it is what is produced. Right, so there are a couple of like basic Slotty, which are the blue, red, and green variants, and then there are the more advanced Slotty that are gray or death oriented, right? And the basic versions tend to be just kind of like, oh, did this thing get infected or did this thing get killed by a Slotty? The exception being that if a caster is killed or infected by chaos phage, right? They turn into a green slot, and a green slot has the potential to get kind of like more advanced into gray slots and death slots and things like that. So this was actually like a not a baby slot, because there are in fact baby slots. They're slot tadpoles. But this was more like a young, weaker Slotty. Weaker, in fact, than any, I think, of the Slotty that you all have fought before, because you fought gray slots on the lost levels, and then Zartem was a gray slot, and then Yerk was a death slot, right?
Yep.
So this is, in fact, the weakest slot that you have seen before, and it's the furthest down that you've been. So, a little
Irony.
I
mean, he's in a school being studied.
Who knows why he's here? Curious.
Surprising.
But that is what your 27 history gets you, good sir. Now,
I point out the corpse of the Quagoth torn asunder, and in response to Matt querying about if that one is a Slotty or whatever his question was.
Oh yeah. The blue one, 99.99999% came out of that Quagoth.
Ah, gotcha. Cool. All right.
Yeah, they do the whole alien chest burster thing.
All right, well, we did it.
That.
Cool. Regret coming in here.
Maybe Ashes put it back on the table.
Yeah, I mean,
It's easy
enough.
It's not that heavy. It's just very bulky.
It's very bulky. Easy enough for one of Ash's strength. Absolutely. So you can get that back up on the autopsy
or whatever it is.
kind of table is more kind of what it is. And there you go.
I look at the claws. What are they made of?
They seem to be some sort of hard black bone-like structure, but you're not 100% sure.
I plop them on the table. I look at the hand. I look at bones. I look at the...
What?
Nothing.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Bones is over there
He's
like
it's bone, dog. Do you want bone?
Yeah. Bones is over there like petting Mossy, not paying attention at all to anything that's going on.
He didn't seem particularly strong, but I guess I can do something with him. I cut his bone claws off.
You cut do you cut like the bone claws off, or do you like cut the hands off and take them? What are you doing?
I'll take the whole hands.
Take the whole hands? Okay. You
Why
can
not?
write 2 blue slot hands.
Or
Okie dokie then.
how heavy blue slot hands?
We'll say a pound apiece.
1 pound
Probably.
fish, all right.
Realistically, they're probably heavier than that. Slotty are quite meaty boys, but I don't think it matters particularly that much.
Alrighty, I did it.
Okay. So
Right.
you've seen up on the wall, right? That whole kind of like in shit. What was it? It was in Infernal, actually, I believe, because wasn't it Ashes that was reading it?
It was like it's basically groups of like students with parents, and students with like other guardians or something.
That's an interpretation. It was a red, blue, and green slot, and it was basically showing like, if this thing does this, it goes this. If this thing does this, it goes this. It's showing basically what Ezrah just like told to everyone, the kind of like evolutionary chain of Slot Eye and what happens if they infect certain types of creatures.
So how does it show how to eventually get a gold chocobo out of it?
It stops at a green. You're gonna have to find other information to go beyond a green.
Like, it doesn't even get a blue? Like, how are you supposed to get on the fucking...
No, it tells you how to blue and how to
Okay.
red, but it apparently green is the best of those three, so, you know.
Okay.
Your
Good
princess your princess is in another castle, Ashes. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Well, we fucking killed that shit.
You
Yeah,
did.
that-
Yeah, now what the fuck
Yay.
are you guys doing?
I'll be honest, I have no memory. Were we just leaving?
I thought we were going to look for
We had a
Martha.
list that we were working from.
I think you
Did
wanted to
we
go
finish everything
harass
on that?
Martha some more, so I thought we were going
I
to go
mean,
harass Martha.
I can go back to studying if you want.
It was the
Nope.
middle of the night.
You have
Except
you have
you
no
want-
more study time today. You're bound until tomorrow. Your brain is outstudied.
It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
in
Hey, you guys want to go
fact-
harass Marta?
It does seem
see if
impractical, but I gotta put
No, I
limitations
don't want
on
to harass
something.
Marta, but I will absolutely escort you to go harass Marta yourself.
I mean, you guys don't want to, like, try to figure out why she's being so damn weird?
I mean, at this point, I feel quite certain that she summoned that demon to murder me on purpose. So,
did you? Yeah, I was about to
I'm not,
say,
like,
like,
super into being friends with her anymore.
Yeah, but doesn't it seem like a wild personality change? Like, maybe she's being controlled or something?
Or
Possessed?
she was putting on a fake face when we first
So,
met her to try
that
and
thing
throw
we
us off the
thought-
scent.
was hunting in the name of Skella.
Hunting in
So
the
what
name of.
Hunting in the name of.
Sorry, I listened to that earlier today, so that's the only reason I was like,
Isn't it killing in the name of?
yes, it is
It
killing
is.
in the name
Okay.
of. But he said the way he said it, he was just like
Yep.
hunting in the name of,
Well,
and I was
he's-
like,
he's raging against the lyrics.
Yep.
Anyways, like he was working for Skella. So how does Marta tie into this? Does
Oh.
Marta know Skella?
Let's go find out.
And if so, and if
Let's,
we,
you know what,
if
let's
we
just go ask her. Fuck it.
and if
Why
she,
not?
and if that comes to, like that, it's probably going to come to blows if we just be like, "Hey, so have you heard of this like half dwarf, half Durgar lady?" Like,
I mean, at this point,
then
you
I get to beat
guys,
the shit out of her.
you guys have killed a demon and an aberration on this floor, and you almost came to blows, and I think would have killed a dragon if push came to shove. So, I mean, aren't you kind of due for a student at this point?
I do feel like we haven't murdered any students yet. and
Like,
it's kind of
Jimmy
a-
got lots of
There's
people
a
lost.
goddamn pilot. Swear to God, I'll kill that motherfucker.
I feel like Jeremy's like trying to funnel us into killing a student.
No, he's definitely leading the party.
I don't think I'm trying to funnel you into. I think the module is trying to funnel you into killing a student, and I'm just interested on
I
what
mean,
you guys
no.
decide to do.
Nihilus is straight up was like, "Hey Bones, you want to kill some students?"
It kind of was.
Yeah. I'm done to kill him, though. Hey, do you think if I cut his hand off, it'll let me in his room?
Ooh.
What? Who?
Nihilus is.
They have biometric scanners to
If
get
you
into the
cut
room.
off Niles' hand,
It opens whenever other student touches their door.
Oh, is it? Is that how that works?
That's what it seems like.
That's cool. Like,
I think for science, we cut off Ezra's hand first, and then see if it actually works that way.
I mean, Ezra's already been there before, right?
Yeah,
With
he's
the
already
skeleton
he's already
hands.
lost his hands.
Own
to his
hands.
skeleton hands.
We've had to go down this route. It's fine.
Yeah, because that went well the last time.
Actually,
there
I
was
think it
no
went pretty
downside to that.
fine.
It was
Truth be
just
told.
cool bone hands.
It is purely
Oh.
good.
The only downside I can think about that is maybe you make audible sounds on somatic components for spells. And I was like,
Clickety clackety.
I'm pretty sure when it happened, we were definitely with the whole like divinity idea of like if Ezra keeps the bone hands, he can lockpick things with his finger bones.
honestly, that was like a busted race. Like that is a real good race.
I think we should just head on off through here. Let's go to this cantina near Essentia. Maybe she's around there.
Where?
He starts
The
casting
cantina, the place where we first met Elon. Elon Musk.
a xylophone opening to spooky, scary
Oh,
stealth.
Essentia is what you said.
Yeah, what'd you think I said? I thought I said Essentia.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
said it wrong.
you said Essentia.
Ascend. Essentia.
Essentia.
Ascend.
I feel like Essentia.
Not a hard C. It is a very not hard C.
I feel like Essentia is like the Hogwarts pronunciation because I'm over here imagining.
Essentia.
Essentia. Huh?
I'm not doing a hard C. A hard C would be Akensia.
Akensia would be a hard C.
It's not a soft C either.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a
TIA.
Yeah, it's a TIA or an SH. Essentia.
All right. So aside from Wolverine and the pronunciation of what was it?
Spell it, motherfucker.
Essentia is a made-up D&D word,
Before. And you
and it's Essentia.
Spell it.
Motherfucker, no!
Here it goes.
This isn't a competition.
All right, Jeremy, spell it exactly how fits your pronunciation.
No. What is the what?
Honestly.
Yeah, do that. Do exactly that, Jeremy.
It is ASCENCIA. It is Essentia. And here's the thing. I don't care what your text to
Very
speech says.
interesting.
It's a made-up word.
Essentia.
Yeah, and I have a made-up person saying it.
Get out of here. I don't care.
Essentia.
Ugh.
Huh.
You know
Very
why?
interesting.
You know why it's Essentia and not Essentia? Because it's based off of the concept of ascension, not ascension.
The made-up person
No,
pronounced it.
I saw your face where you were like, "Oh shit, he's got me."
No.
Fuck.
No.
I saw you hesitate. Shut your face.
Nope. I will not.
That's why
I
it's dissentia and not dissensia, because it's dissension, not dissension.
The made-up person said the made-up word.
The real person set the made-up word. I'm done. Moving
that's
on.
Too damn bad.
Where would you guys like to
You're
go?
gonna get up all on me if I say potato too. I'm sure.
I didn't get up on you. That was your fellow players.
I'm leaving.
Get them,
Also,
not
you're
me.
wrong.
I mean, the DM has said Essentia, and then you decided to pronounce it some other bumfuck way.
I will say it how I want.
I
will-
know.
Look, coming from the like six months of punitive hazing that was
Now
Rune
calling it
versus
Dwarves
Ruin,
Maruda.
I am perfectly acceptable to anyone pronouncing anything whatever they want to pronounce it.
My issue with that is I wanted to make sure what you were referring to. Were you referring to ruins?
To
Or
Ruin.
were you referring to runes? I needed to know the
Context
difference.
clues it, motherfucker.
All right, hey,
Those
let's go
things
to-
are
I'm
really
going to the
close,
canteen.
man.
See y'all later. Let's go.
Oh god, we have just like segued so hard. Okay,
I'm in the canteen.
Bones is headed off to the canteen. What's
Is
everyone
there
else?
anything
go.
else of note
Come on,
in this,
everybody.
this study that now that I'm
Roll
in
me
here that
a investigation or a perception check.
we know which one of those I'm not gonna roll.
Hold on, is everyone coming? I'm not trying to break from the party.
I think everyone is eventually heading that direction. Yes.
Okay.
I just think on his way out, Ezra is looking about because he hasn't gotten to go into the place yet. So Ezra is
Word,
taking a
I-
look around the lecture hall. And I mean, there nothing of note, right? I don't know if you heard me earlier when I described that the kind of chalkboard or whatever, which is basically kind of like reiterating the information that you were aware of, that kind of like evolutionary chain of the Slotty. And then there's the obvious evidence of a Slod birthing itself from the chest cavity of this Quaggoth. You don't have advantage, do you? It's just the 11?
Just 11.
Okay. Then I think that's probably about it in that particular situation. Everything else seems like, oh, this is a fine lecture hall. You know?
So
There's
we
some
wanna go-
I think there's some torches on the back wall that kind of like illuminate it. Yeah, and there's torches all around that kind of like illuminate the whole space for the potentially dark sight gifted student or lecturer, perhaps, right?
Gotcha.
But other than that, it seems like a nice little
Okay.
lecture hall. That's it.
Nothing catches my eye. Nothing catches my eye.
Nope. And as a reminder, this doorway to the west is actually a full wall. You all are just aware that it's fake, right? Because you've walked through it with the headmaster before, so it's no longer marked as a secret door.
So we
Oh
we're
no,
going-
that's not the cantina. Where's the cantina? from
To
here?
the left, to the west.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, through the. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
through the statue room. So,
So
we're,
yeah,
we're
so
not-
you all begin to kind of filter down that hallway that has all of the statues of the Seven and Halaster, right? And then make your way north and then west down into the cantina. Matashtai, you're the only person who's not moving, which is perfectly fine. I just want you to be aware of that.
I'm moving.
He moving. So,
Please move.
you all eventually convene in the cantina. And once again, you're greeted by that whole kind of like self-serve bar. Well, it's not a self-serve. It's a spectral hand serve. They kind of riffed the idea from you,
Wait, was
right?
it not down?
No,
Oh,
it's
I
up.
went the wrong way.
It's up.
Oh, my bad.
And so there's that whole spectral hand bar. There's the couple of like small dining tables to kind of sit at or study at. There's the various kind of like dartboards and other small kind of like almost bar-like games, right? It's a nice little cozy chamber. Wouldn't fit too many people, right? In point of fact, like if you recall the number of students that you met and the number of faculty that you met, assuming all the faculty could actually get here, it seems like this would be rather crowded if there was like big events thrown in here, right? It's more of like a smaller, just situationally appropriate hangout spot. So that being said, someone please roll me a 1d13. Someone roll me a 1d20, actually, on this one.
One in. Yatta!
Yatta!
Roll the 12.
That means that
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
all right then.
What does it mean?
As you
Share
all
us.
reconvene,
It's Farah from Overwatch.
within this location, you all you're stepping in, you're kind of like looking around, you're taking in the space, there's no one here, and as you are kind of turning to converse amongst yourselves, The door to the south opens, and Halaster hurriedly walks out of a room to the south and then into the cantina proper, right? And the Mad Mage has almost a quintessential mad look about their eyes. Looks a little harassed, is kind of like breathing
Crazy.
heavy, looking about, right? And kind of like looking through you all momentarily. Looks down at their hands, and you see kind of like mutters a few words to themselves, and then looks up and kind of then recognizes each of you, right? Tilts their head. And squints at you. Says, Curious, yes. Who are you?
He says that. Do I smell brimstone?
Roll me a perception check.
Damn,
At
sniff
advantage
on-
because that's your sniffer.
Yeah. Kind of shitty 16.
16 pretty good.
16, yeah, 16's not
Plus
horrible.
5? An advantage?
Well,
You smell something acrid. You smell something kind of smoky, right? But it's not brimstone, right? You don't think.
We need
The headmaster
We
looks
need-
at all of you and he says, I'm in a bit of a hurry and you're in the way.
okay. What?
I
You don't know our
Mm.
names? We just talked to you like 5 minutes ago.
He looks at each of you and he goes, I know your names. You're that cat thing from the portal.
Oh shit! This is actual
Bones
actual.
and skeletons and things. He points at Matashtai and then Ezrah and he goes, one of you's an alien. Think?
Ezrah.
And he points at Ashes and says, he's obviously stricken with an illness. Cursed, probably. And that's a Zorn. See, I know what's going on here.
Okay.
You nailed it.
So do we
Hard
murder
to
him
hold you
now
up.
and end the campaign?
Yeah, attack him and see what happens. See if he doesn't meteor swarm the whole level 7 times.
Can I quick save real quick, Jeremy?
Would you like to? Would you like to
I would-
actually quick save?
I would like to quick save and attack him.
Okay. For shits and giggles, Matashtai quick saves. We're
I'm
playing a
thinking
CRPG.
Actual Halaster, just so everyone's aware.
Matashtai presses the quick save button and then runs over towards this guy. Doesn't make it halfway through the room before he is force caged.
Yep.
Great.
Load state.
Load state.
we just load state. Okay, gotcha. Boom, load state. Done. I mean, technically, I guess Ezra could counterspell if Ezra wanted to get involved in this shit. But I'm pretty sure Jake's over there like, nah, fuck that. I'm not in this shit.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's actual Halaster. So everyone.
No! You have yet to meet actual Halaster in this campaign.
But he
Believe
said
it.
you're that cat from the portal.
That could mean anything.
That could be another not Halaster.
Damn, it could be another not Halaster. Shit, bitch. Alright, well. Alright,
Are-
see you later, Headmaster.
I have to get to my study. I Can't believe I left it there. Starts
When'd
to
you
walk.
leave?
As he starts walking away, you might run into the headmaster if you go that way.
Well, it's the only way I can go. And I am the headmaster. What are you talking about?
I meant the other one.
I own this place. Don't you talk back to me. Also, and he turns and he says, I left a book here. Which isn't good. I need it.
Okay.
Can we come in your study? Never seen it.
Yeah. Can we see your study?
Yeah, you got something to study? This study sounds cool. Maybe we can help you look for it.
Yeah, we're very good at looking for things.
Yeah, we're adventurers. We find shit all the time.
He kind of strokes his beard and goes, Are you really? You're not just
we
pulling my
all-
leg.
No, we all have insight
Nope.
trained.
I need
it's
everyone. I need everyone to either roll me persuasion, deception, or performance. This is a group check.
Fuck. All things I'm awful at.
Persuasion,
You're awful at all three of those things.
Nailed it.
Yes, I am.
deception.
We're
Performance.
good to go.
Whatever. Persuasion it is.
It's -1 on all of them.
Fucking killed it.
Oh,
What?
we getting in there,
Wow.
boys.
Wait, no, hold on. There it is.
Well,
Kind of
one
looks
fail and
across
two-
the room and his eyes land on Ashes and he says, I think your companions lift your dead weight. But you know what? Let's go. And he walks out of the
Sweet.
fucking room.
All right,
And
follow.
he is walking at a hurry. He is not waiting on anyone. He is fucking going.
All right, we're going quick.
I beat him to the door.
Did he go this way?
He's too fast for you fuckers.
Wait, no. Did he go to the study that Spite showed us, right?
he is
Oh, God,
walking the
guys,
fuck
go.
away.
Fucking go! Hold on, I gotta zoom out.
All right. By the way, for reference, Jeremy, someone clicked the door. It did not have a lock, and then it did have a lock.
I clicked the door because I thought he went in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention this. This is perfect. Thank you for reminding me, Mitch. I'm still working on the whole door situation. So what we have discovered is that if I quote unquote lock a door, right? It appears just as a door to any of you until someone clicks said door, and then it'll be like, "Oh, this door is locked."
Well, that's perfect.
However, which is great, right? Like functioning, wonderful. The problem is, you can click a door, any door from any range, as long as you can see it. So if you can see a door 60 feet away from you, right? You can click that door, and if it's openable, it'll open, and if it's locked, it will reveal that it is locked, right?
So, with this house rule, don't click
yeah.
on a door and look next to it.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone just try to do your best to...
Yeah, that's gonna work in this group.
Well, I mean, I think generally
Not
speaking,
hard.
it'll work fine, right? Like, it's sometimes we might forget about it, but generally speaking, try to only click doors when you are next to doors, okay?
All right.
What is that?
All right, follow me, guys. I know. where to go.
Anyways, yes, Halaster is at a
It's way over here.
brisk walking south past the cauldron room and then into the... This is funny, he walks into the evocation chamber and he doesn't skirt the chamber. He walks into the chamber itself, right? Stops in the middle of the room, looks around, and you see these statues begin to awaken. The statues of Marambra Nightsteel and then the other two statues on either side. And then you hear Halaster kind of say, "Ah, shit." And he waves his hand, and you see all three of the statues freeze in place momentarily. And then he starts walking away.
Damn.
Solid flex.
He gets to this kind of like crossroads, and he's like, this way. And he walks towards the kitchen, and then he walks south through the kitchen. Ashes gets to the door first, and Halaster goes,
I'm
Thank you, young man.
open it for you. Yeah, there you go.
someone roll me a 1d20 as you guys are all but sprinting through Dwemercore at the side of Halaster Blackcloak. Oh shit, is that a 16? Oh shit, you run into literally no one on your way.
All right. Oh god, it crashed.
Oh, did the whole thing crash for you?
Yeah, the entire tab is gone.
I'll bring Ashes along with us.
Thank you. It's reticulating splines. Hold on.
Oh god, we're doing the getting off base thing. So Halaster hurriedly walks southward. Oh god, Matastai's on top of me.
Oh my.
And yes, indeedy, Ashes and Bones, you find very shortly, Halaster Blackcloak takes you to that location that Spite had led you to previously. And he walks up to the door, and as he does, he kind of like, the whole time, he's doing this is how he's walking. He's doing like, and you see all about him, his cloak of eyes. The eyes are like looking at each of you, just like very discerningly paying attention to you. Like each of you has your own separate eye that's kind of like focused on you, like, I don't know about these guys kind of like situation. Even Mossy has a particular eye, Bones, which you actually see. Mossy, I think, is generally in the habit when he's traveling with you of occasionally dipping in and out of the ground, just because that's Mossy. That's a Zorn, right? That's how they get about. They don't like to just like clop, 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 everywhere. They like to slide places, right? Even when Mossy dips fully underground, the eye that is tracking Mossy continues to pinpoint his location with unerring accuracy.
Neat.
So he's got X-ray true sight.
Halaster pauses at this doorway, and he turns and he looks at all of you. That's his exasperated breath. He says, I shouldn't have walked that fast. I'm a little out of breath. Give me a second.
I hand him a water skin.
The water? Yeah.
Oh, God, 2 water skins. Okay. And he drinks from one, and he drinks from the other, and then he squeezes both over his face, and it dribbles down through his hair and his beard, and he kind of like does a brief moment where he does kind of like he kind of like looks at you all from the side, and he gives you this eye, and a chair appears behind him, and he just like leans back in it, and water just goes
God damn it.
down around him.
And we dirty dancing dust.
And then he stands back up, and he waves his hand, and he's completely dry. And he looks at each of you, and he says, "You're not that bad. Why am I here?"
You said you forgot
Look.
something?
A book. Forgot a book. Oh my god! And he turns and he opens the door. And he steps inside.
We follow him.
All right, where do we step to not die?
He just walks straight into the fucking chamber. As he walks into the chamber, is everyone following him, or do we have any non-takers? What's going on?
I'm following.
I am
Yeah,
going
I'm gonna stick
follow
like
his
relatively
exact
close to him.
footsteps.
You
Yeah.
follow his exact footsteps? Okay. Gotcha. Is there just like a conga line following him?
I'm
Yeah.
just walking. Whatever.
Okay, gotcha.
Guy.
As you all enter into this chamber, you see before you, right? Like as you kind of like look about you, there is a, it's a tall chamber, right? 20-foot tall. There are statues, big ass statues of elephant-headed figures standing in either of the southern corners of the room. And then forward towards the northern portion of the room is a raised dais. And beyond the dais is an arched double door carved with what looked to be, for lack of a better kind of like phrasing, just tortured, screaming, fiendish faces. Right? So, like, imagine all of the devils and demons you've seen so far and, like, put their heads carved into a wall just screaming in, like, terror and agony. Right? And that's this door.
So it's the cover of Doom without the Doom guy.
Sure, yeah, there you go. That's a pretty good comparison. Right? Floating in front of this door is a relatively large, ghostly skull with a long white beard. And as you all kind of like filter in the room, this thing kind of like begins to move. And you see like its dull pits where eyes would be begin to kind of like glow and light up, right? And it begins to, what appears to be like, look about the room and look at each of you. And as that happens, you hear this grinding as one of the elephant-headed figures, the elephant-headed statues, moves to life and then shoves to the left, pushes Ezrah out of the way, right? And slams the door shut, standing in front of the door, right?
Okay.
And then that skull lights up and you see its mouth open and it goes, You're me. And it looks at Halaster and it goes, Hello, me? And Halaster goes, Hello, me? And the skull looks back at him and says, Oh, well, this is awkward, I suppose. And Halaster says, and the skull goes, Ah! And it like cackles madly, and it does that kind of like almost, I don't know, Scooby-Doo-ish kind of like cycle in on itself and whoop, pop, disappear type thing, right? And Halaster kind of like looks back at each of you and he says,
That normal?
I don't remember doing that. He looks back and he looks at the elephant statue who is just standing there menacingly, like it could just pound Ezrah into the dirt, kind of like style scenario, right? And he just
That's
looks
a low
back
bar.
at it and
That's a low bar.
I mean, fair. He looks and he points at the statue and he says, Be good. The statue doesn't respond, it's a statue, right? But Halaster then kind of like steps forward up to the door, waves his hand, and you see all of those fiendish faces, right, that are kind of like crying out in terror and agony. I guess it's not so much see. You hear them suddenly crying out in terror and agony.
Nope.
And it's this horrendous cacophony of excruciating pain and torment, right? And then the door clicks and it throws itself open. And Halaster strides inside.
Okay.
Huh.
Get on in.
Yep.
As you head inside, you see Halaster walks back behind a black crystal desk covered in melted candles and empty ink jars. And he kind of begins to he pulls out some drawers and begins to kind of like rifle about and things. and you see attached to a thin iron chain and draped over one corner of the desk is kind of like, or the chain is draped over one corner of the desk, but there's this black crystal chair, and attached to the chair and this chain is a gleaming, about fist-size black gemstone, right? And Halaster kind of like is pulling out drawers and kind of like brushing aside papers. And you'll see as you're kind of like watching this that most of these papers and little pamphlets and things like that Halaster is pulling out and tossing aside are charred, like scorched beyond belief, right? Like they've been obliterated by fire, and there's just like scant remnants of them. And ultimately, he kind of like casually knocks this crystal aside, and it onto the ground, and rolls away, still attached to the chair via this chain.
Just out of curiosity, is the description that the death slide said his control crystal like? Does that look a lot similar to his description?
Ashes, if you do not have inspiration, please take inspiration. Yes, in point of fact, it does seem to be of a similar description to the tale that Yerk, the Lord of Fetid Obliteration, told you, right? Like, he tried to sell you on this idea of like, look, I'll peace out if you just go get my control orb, right? I got no vested interest here. You go do this thing for me, and I'm gone. Bye, fam. And
Wow.
in point of fact,
Here.
the thing that he described to you, this is it. It seems similar. Yeah, absolutely. So, while that is happening, Halaster very casually just knocks this thing aside and eventually pulls out a tome, right? And it's on the thicker side, but it's still made in kind of like that almost medieval, archaic kind of scenario where it's not as many pages as it would seem, right? Type situation. And Ezra, you identify it very quickly, right? As a spellbook, right? And he throws it open. I say throws it open, but it actually has like one of those corner bindings where he has to like pull it aside. And it looks to be like some sort of tongue that is this corner binding. You're just not sure what, right? But he just like pulls it aside and like throws the tome open, and he begins flipping through. And as he's flipping through, you recognize a couple of the spells that he's flipping through. Lower levels, getting up to more robust levels, right? And then as he starts to get to what would be like the higher magic section, it's charred page, mostly charred page, completely missing page, charred page, page that is entirely there but looks to be like completely covered in acid pockmarks, right? Like every single page over and over and over and over again seems as if it was just obliterated and is of no use to anyone, right? And Halaster flips to the end of the book, and he looks around at each of you with this concerned face. He looks and he says,
What's wrong?
What
Is that
happened to
not
your
it?
book?
I've lost it. And he taps the book and he says, it was here. It was right here. And I lost it. I lost it. Oh, this is perfect. I lost it. And he snaps his fingers and his whole body goes, and he disappears. Gone.
Okay.
Is the book behind him?
Guess we're fighting that elephant.
Right?
I'm gonna go ahead and pocket that book.
Okay, you just like slide across and like slide the book over towards you.
I think we just
Ezra,
ransacked this
I would
room.
say, like, if you were keeping a keen eye on things, I'm assuming, right? That book, as he was kind of like filtering through, it probably stopped having spells after about the like 4th level or so, maybe a few 5th levels, right? So like
So
anything that would be considered more advanced magic, all of those pages were obliterated.
Is there any other like books or shelves or
Yeah,
knickknacks?
I'm just gonna
Hold on,
ransack this room and take all his shit.
Halaster? Halaster?
How do we
I'm
move
gonna
the elephant?
activate my lantern of revealing to make sure he's not invisible in
Oh.
here.
Lantern goes on.
Hey, if we can do whatever we want in here, don't say anything.
Lantern goes on, reveals nothing invisible. Actually, that's not true. It does reveal that skull back out from where you came, right? The skull that seemed to disappear when Halaster kind of like spoke to it. It's still there. It's just kind of like idling.
Great.
Okay.
But other than that, you reveal nothing with your lantern of
doesn't-
revealing.
If he doesn't respond, I take that as permission.
You hear no response. And as far as like other things, right? Like again, as described, pretty much everything that he pulled out of the desk was burned to smithereens or covered in acid pockmarks, etc., right? So like there's little to nothing here that you might deem as interest-worthy. Though I would say, if anyone wants to roll perception or investigation checks, they are free to do so.
I'll point over there and be like, I have reasons to believe that's Yerk's control orb.
Would my spectacles count towards this investigation check?
I would say you are free to allow them to count towards the investigation check, but if you do, it's going to narrow what you can find to specify on like the minute searching of like visual perspectives, which I think is what you're after anyways. You're not here to sniff or hear anything, so that's fair.
Sure.
If that makes sense, right? Like you're investigating with your eyes. You're not investigating with your nose or your ears or anything like that.
25.
So 25. You didn't even need the advantage. What are you talking about? 25. Okay.
It's called
10
moral support, Jeremy, of knowing there's a second die to save my ass.
What are you talking about? You're the sorcerer. You have a second and third die, right? Because you have the. Oh, let me spin a sword point and re-roll that real quick. Okay, so 10, 8. You guys are looking around. You're a little concerned by things. 20 and 25. Ashes, obviously, you've laid eyes on the orb, right? It's not like when you rolled an 8, you were just suddenly like, oh, that orb doesn't exist anymore. You walk over towards the orb. You see it's chained. The chain is connected via what seems to be like a detachable clip, right? And you kind of just, and you're able to pull apart without damaging the orb, the chain from the orb. Just, you're strong enough to do that, right? Like, no issues. While he is doing that, Bones and Ezra. Bones first, with your 20. You notice a couple of different things.
What do I notice?
The first thing that you notice is that there is a lever on the left inside wall of this chamber.
Okay, I like levers.
The lever is relatively nondescript, right? But it does have a little etching next to it. What languages do you speak?
I speak, not moss-covered, not the bag of holding. This one. I speak Common, Draconic, Dwarven, and Primordial.
Okay. It is actually in Draconic, right?
Speak
and
that.
it says basically in Draconic The translation's a little iffy, but it basically says, if things go haywire, flip switch.
Well, that's concerning. All right. Well, I relayed that.
Okay?
Hey guys, this switch should. It says to flip it if bad things happen.
That sounds like a cyanide pill
I mean, or it's like an escape pod or something,
or a cyanide pill.
or an explosion.
You also realize,
Like a cyanide
Bones,
pill.
that something that Ashes doesn't realize, right, is that this chain that was attached with one end to Yerk's orb does seem to be attached to the black crystal chair in the same manner. Right? It's not actually connected. There's almost like a magnetism about it that's touching the chair, right? And you saw Ashes basically, just with brute strength, pull apart one end from the orb and then just drop it, right? Because he's like, oh, I got the orb. That's what I'm after.
Hey, Ashes, I think he can probably pull that chain off the chair. It looks neat.
I grab the chain, pull it off the chair.
Okay, and again, right? Like, there's some... I gotta kind of
It's
pull.
like it's like a earthen magnet, super strong.
Yeah, but Ashes is inherently strong enough to not have to try to check anything, but just be like, I got it in a relaxed environment. I'm gonna pull this thing apart, right? And now you realize you have this chain that's about 10 foot long, and either end have these kind of like magnetized connections, perhaps.
All right, so we think that's definitely like magic, right? That's some weird magic.
Probably.
All right,
Okay.
well, I'll throw it in. I'll just throw it in the backpacked item and identify later.
So we can have whatever in
Ashes.
here.
Roll me just a straight D20.
Oh,
Below
boy.
a 10 is bad luck. Above a 10 is good luck.
Look,
Good luck.
It wasn't a con save. He was fine.
You're going to kind of like shove this thing in your bag, you feel it before you fuck up and just kind of like toss it in. You feel this repulsion from the two ends.
oh, like they're
And
the
you
same
realize,
polarity.
had you just kind of like tossed it in, it's impossible that they would have woof gone away from each other and maybe ripped your bag to shreds or just smacked you in the face or something like that, right? But
would've been funny.
they seem to be magnetically polar opposites and repulsing
that's right.
each other.
No, they got to be the same to push.
Or yeah, you get what I'm saying.
All right,
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll put most of it in my backpack and leave the end hanging out.
Gotcha. Sounds like a plan.
I'll
Okay.
say 10-foot magic magnet chain.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
How much does 10 foot of chain weigh? That's got to be like
50 pounds.
We'll
gotta be a
say
lot.
no. 10 feet of chain. We'll say 20 pounds.
does.
20
All right, 20 pounds.
You don't.
I guess
think,
it depends. It
10
depends
feet?
on how heavy the chains are. The links are.
We'll
I
say it's
suppose.
like. I don't want to say it's mithril chain because then we'll be like, oh, it's mithril chain. Let's go. It's not.
Right,
it's
yeah.
it's lightweight. Like it's not that heavy.
Okay. Sounds good. You're the DM. You call
Okay.
it. I'm gonna question
now
it. But
have-
you get to call it.
Okay. While that is going on, Ezra, you are more interested potentially in perhaps the potential information or the potential for information. You see all these scraps, right? You see these charred pamphlets, and you're like, I'm gonna extrapolate or perhaps impose a little bit. Feel free to correct me if I overstep, but I imagine Ezra has kind of like this like glum moment of seeing all of these words obliterated, right? Like seeing them just like, there's the potential of a lot of knowledge just in this small chamber that got eradicated. And I imagine in that moment, Ezra is just kind of like grabbing pieces of paper and putting them on the black crystal desk and kind of like just arranging them in like rows. And the entire time, as he's grabbing more and picking up handfuls and unfolding this pamphlet, he's just like scanning them, trying to read everything and see if there's anything there to be garnered, to be gathered, anything to be missed, right? Heartbreakingly, there's not a lot. Most of it has been thoroughly obliterated. I saw that, Jay. I also saw the watermelon. But you are able, I think, in that moment, Ezra, to identify a few key phrases. And I'm going to be paraphrasing this, right? Because these are burned, jumbled masses. And this is kind of what your 25 is able to piece together, perhaps, with your brain. Okay? What you see allotted throughout the unmarred portions of the pamphlets and pages that you find is along the lines of a desperate plea for deliverance. There's no names involved. There's no indication of deliverance from what. There's just phrases. Help me. Save me. Take me from this.
Jesus.
Why me? Why must it be me? How long must I suffer? Over and over and over again, these kind of like ideas repeated. This need for deliverance. And it is specifically deliverance, right? It's not a I will eventually save myself. You see words of I need help. Help me. Someone save me. Right? It is an individual that seems to feel as if whatever they are going through is no longer in their control. It's out of their hands.
Does the handwriting seem consistent? One,
It seems
consistent with these pleas.
I'm gonna say this
with his handwriting.
I'm gonna say this with the 25 investigation. No, the handwriting does not seem consistent. And that in and of itself, across the board, is a little bit of a tell. In its inconsistency, you find patterns. And within those patterns, you find consistency. You find patterns of madness. An inability to write in the same way consistently. But there are tells here or there. As this happens, as Ezra takes a few minutes, right? And I think what happens with Bones and Ashes and with Matashtai doesn't take that long. You all kind of like, you see what Ezra is doing, and you kind of like wait for a few moments. A few minutes pass as Ezra kind of like garners this pattern, like reasons through this situation. And then you see Ezra, little bits of lightning kind of like involuntarily flashing across his vitiligo, right? You see him kind of like look up at the rest of the group as a whole. And then whatever happens in this moment, beyond, each of you hear this kind of like
No. Oh no.
as you see that elephant figure standing at the doorway behind you. And indeed, there is kind of like, don't you close that door.
Oh, no.
I closed it earlier and no one said anything, and now you're all like the
Get
elephant's
out of
all
here.
fucking gonna murder us.
This is the true problem of the opening and closing of the doors. There's that intensity, right, where it does feel. Perhaps there's some other option, but it does feel in this particular moment that a looming threat awaits you all in the next chamber.
Well,
And
that's
that-
unfortunate.
Is where we are going to take our break. So, when we come back, we will see what exactly the party does with this newfound knowledge and the looming threat below them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in just a few. Bye-bye, everybody.
I guess.
Goodbye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.